is what it's like. Beginning of the show before all the people show up. Everyone's all getting ready, making their stuff look pretty. We just came early. That's why we're done. Here comes Warren. Hey, Warren. Okay, bye. Another thing of note, I would like to point out the amount of subscribers for the Shit for Ratings channel pre-show. Now hopefully I'd get above that 1,000 mark. We get there, I'm a happy guy, but I have a feeling it's just going to be a little bit more. We shall see. Just real quick, right off the bat, almost there. I just wanted to get that. 999 subscribers. This is it. We're gonna be famous. We're gonna be on 80s. And there we go. I just refreshed. I'm now at 1,002 subscribers. I've been trying to get to this for quite a while now. Yeah. So it's Friday, first day of the show. I think we had bases loaded earlier and I forgot to turn on the camera, but this is our current situation here.
Well, I told Norma, I was like, this is stupid. Why do I have to buy a damn?
Hi guys.
You never really see like behind the desk.
You're just starting out too.
We've done a pretty good job of keeping the clutter away, but underneath every single one of these tables is going to be a clusterfuck like this.
Work your way up.
You can kind of see one right there, and then one under there. That's one of the big messes, just to really get a behind the scenes look.
Yeah, with the baby too, and it's on that stack over there on the back.
So the sign was leaning forward, so what we had to do is get some gappers tape to pull it back. That's a behind the scenes look right there. It's closer in. Yeah, behind the scenes. There you go. Don't tell anybody. There's a fire alarm right there. We're covering up the fire alarm. They'll still hear it. And that's that. There's usually something behind you.
Hello guys, my name is Sam McKinney. My hometown is here in Denver, Colorado, but I first got to know the Shit team when we were all living together in sunny California. Oh man, I have a lot of headphones and earphones. I think the one that I use the most with my Shit gear has got to be the Mr. Speakers Ether C, which is the closed back Ether series from Mr. Speakers, and it sounds spectacular. And the Shit gear that I have at home, I opted for the smaller package so it can sit nicely on my desk and my desk gets cluttered. And it's the Modi Multivid and the Valley 2, which is got to be the coolest little tube amplifier system out there right now. I have been thoroughly impressed with it since day one. I use it, I think, every day, actually. Alright. I wish I had every bit of Shit gear, to be honest, because it is the most amazing, shitty equipment I've ever seen in my lifetime. And I don't know, I've spent a lot of time with a lot of these different shows that we've had the pleasure of being at together that I've had the opportunity to test, I think, everything that you guys have quite thoroughly. And whether it's a solid state or a tube amplifier, all you're really getting is just a change of preference, not a change of quality. And that's, I think, what's always really very much impressed me about the Shit brand in general, is that whether you're buying the entry-level series for just a standard little DAC amp, or you're really opting for one of their more flagship performance gears to have something that's just the bee's knees of what you can do, you're not really compromising in quality anywhere. It's just a matter of how down, far down the rabbit hole you really want to take this with your passion, and however far you want to go, Shit's kind of got something that you're going to want to use.
Cool. What? subscribe to the Shit for Brains YouTube channel?
I did as of about 10 o'clock this morning.
Excellent.
Yes!
Okay.
And if you haven't, you should too. And click the subscribe button on the YouTube channel somewhere, which I don't know
thing
where.
that they do
Yeah,
on the
click the thing that does the thing and join the community. Have fun.
Alright, thanks a lot, man.
You're welcome, thank you.
From Schiit.eu.com, hometown London, England. Well, I listen to a variety of music from jazz to pop, really, but at the moment, unfortunately, I'm listening to Descendants 2 soundtrack for my daughter in my car, who's 7 years old. The shit gear I'm running at the moment for my personal listening is a Lear 3 multi-bit with a pair of Ether Flow headphones, open headphones. I would like to run a Ragnarok and Yggdrasil, but obviously space issues, I can't, so I run the Lear 3. Dealing with people that are honestly friends and great products at a great price.
Swan, are you a Shit for Brains subscriber?
Yep, I think I was number 2 on the ship subscriber like list.
Alright.
So that was last year, and we're having fun watching it and how shit's built. I think the last one we watched was Jack's. Go looking around how the shit audio stuff was built, which was very interesting. So if you haven't ever seen it, come and have a look at the product. Come and have a look at the product because it's fun, interesting, and above all, great value for money. So have a laugh and enjoy music.
Right on. Thank you very much, sir.
No worries, mate.
6 watts to 32 ohms. 6 watts to 32 ohms. I don't think it actually says what into 50.
Some say
They're making cassettes now, yeah.
Yeah.
These freaking hipsters. Saying, we want cassettes. So everybody's like, here, we're making new tape cassettes. Which is cool because like, tape can sound really freaking good.
Yeah.
But will the formats endure?
Yeah.
Like vinyl has
Right,
proven
right.
to over 80 years.
Yeah, you're right.
But, I think the appeal of physical formats is that the streaming and the digital library, like people have done that for a long time.
Yeah.
Like it's been almost 20 years since you could have a digital library and MP3s and Winamp and all that shit. And now people are like, I think this is better. This is higher quality. I do want to own something, you know. I think that's the appeal.
Yeah.
Really, it truly is. Like,
That makes sense.
I bought this personally defines me. I can show people.
Right.
Like, look at my digital music library, my playlist on Spotify. You can catch my shit. It's like, oh, it's a playlist on Spotify.
Right.
320 other million people.
Right.
We see each other at barbecues. We see each other at bond hearings. We see each other. Yeah, that's probably more accurate. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jason Stoddard of Brew Lab. Oh, wait, no, actually.
Bring some with you?
No, sorry, I didn't bring enough for everyone. Schiit Audio, I'm one of the founders with Mike. We make a bunch of fairly inexpensive stuff to some fairly expensive-er stuff. You probably have heard of this stuff.
I'm Mike. Same company.
Same
Mostly
shit,
animals,
different guy.
same shit, different guy.
But you
Digital
shirts.
Digital, analog.
Yeah, on the amp side, I think that's a lot easier because essentially what we're trying to do is as little harm as possible to maintain separation. That's easy. People do go into the sound stage of amps, and there are differences, even through headphones, which actually it's a lot harder to tell a sound stage difference on a headphone than on a speaker system. There are differences. I actually don't know why. I suspect it has something to do with actually at least minor frequency response variations and some distortion profile. But it's going to be relatively minor on the amp side. It's like choose the best headphone that you want and then work on amps. And then maybe your digital filter plays into that a bit, but that's more on the speaker side.
On the DAC side, most of them, in fact all of them now with the common Delta Sigma chips even have DSP involved. Assuming an optimized recording, and optimized means time domain, which is really phase response. But if you assume there are things that you can do in the digital domain which are not commonly done. All right, all of the common DSP designs use zero phase designs, which means they don't change the phase of anything coming through. There are also time domain optimized filters, which make the time domain actually physically more accurate. There are frequency domain accurate filters as well, but that's virtually all of them. So we have a filter that optimizes both, and I feel that makes quite a difference in imaging. But then again, it depends upon the rest of the system, primarily the transducers.
How long is the strain? That was great.
Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah. Digitally, it's a matter of statistics. And that is to do the greatest possible good for the greatest possible situation. And, but nothing is right for everybody. There's no such thing as one size fits all.
I think the 4.4 is great. It's my favorite of the portable connectors now. Glad Sony did it. It's tough. It's positive locking. You can hold a heavy player by it.
No, Sony fell for the old thing. A lot of engineers have seen this cartoon where it's like, oh, everyone gets together. So we have 12 different standards. We need one standard to rule them all. And they come out with it. Now I got 13 standards. That's the problem.
Well, another situation is that it would take time and effort from some person to get together with all the manufacturers and sell them and convince them that any one given design would be the best. And that would be
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. You couldn't pay them enough money because it's like herding hamsters.
Mike has no opinions though, so you go with whatever.
Yeah, you'd be the you'd be the audio broker.
Yeah, right. It's just not going to happen.
What you hear in measuring the unmeasurable. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of products out there that measure really, really well and sound awful. There's a lot of products out there that measure so-so and sound really, really pretty good. What are we not measuring? What is missing? What are we not measuring that makes the difference?
Well, I would chime in at the beginning. If we knew, we would have a complete objective set of measurements that everybody in the industry would know that we had to adhere to so that all of our products could sound at their best. 40 years ago, TIM, transient intermodulation distortion, was an issue. And there were low TIM designs. But again, some of them sounded great. Some of them sounded just, it knocked the fillings out of your teeth. So the answer is, we don't know.
Yeah, it's like we try to figure it out. And I mean, measurements are hugely valuable. And in fact, we just released measurements on the Modi 3 and then the Modi multi-bit, for the first time. And these are 21-page AP reports. These 21-page AP reports are not complete in any way. They're one sample rate. Actually, I think they're two sample rates. But the thing is, I mean, you'd end up with literally a 150 to 300-page report. To actually accurately cover every input, every permutation, everything that the AP can measure. And the thing is, a lot of people, they look at one page of that and go, oh, this is wrong. Look at this. This is horrible. It's the worst thing on the planet. It's like, well, what about the other 300 pages? How does that actually correlate? And why are we not measuring things, more vigorously, like multi-tone distortion, which we found probably correlates better, but it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I have some designs that work great at multi-tone and sound horrible, and then they don't make the market. But it seems like there might be a little bit of.
Another major point is this is not a conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theory.
But the ADS is influential in those who would make ICs, chips, that are used in audio frequency design that are very common in the entire industry. They're very cookbook. Virtually anyone that could read a data sheet could make a D-to-A converter if they really applied themselves. And the current wisdom in audio, as has been hinted here, is that it's all solved. We've got it all taken care of for you. All you need to do is purchase these parts, and all of the wisdom of the AES will be immediately made available for you in a DAC or a digital component that you might design.
Run the reference design and just go with it. And it's funny because I don't think despite the AES, I don't think I've ever met any engineer actually working in audio, in an audio company, who isn't a subjectivist. I mean, please, contradict me if I'm wrong, but I have never met someone who says, oh, I can't hear the difference between things, and it doesn't matter.
Well, I guess I think, I'm going to utter a dirty word because the story behind it is worth mentioning, that when the engineers who designed MP3 were designing MP3, they made all sorts of tweaks to it, and then it wouldn't pass the Suzanne Vega test. When they gave her voice through it, it sounded like crap. And they kept on working it until Suzanne Vega's voice sounded right. And that was one of their reference points.
It's interesting to play most compressed audio schemes and then separate out that which was lost in compression.
Yes.
And then play it back on its own. You're amazed at the amplitude out of it and how much has been taken out.
Yeah, and actually, if you're talking very low-rate audio codecs like they use in telephony, the only way they really evaluate those is typically not by measurement, it's subjective. It's typically a panel, and it's subjective panel.
Can you understand what was said?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it intelligible?
And is it pleasing?
Yeah.
Because it's pleasing and intelligent. Yeah.
Pleasing-ish.
Yeah.
Well, that.
Yeah. It's all subjective, right?
Yeah.
Hi there. I do want to preface this by saying I'm an educator and an actor and a vocalist. And I've come to many of these trade shows because I know 2, 3, 4, a few people that are involved in this industry. And I have 2 questions. First of all, sort of connected to the last one, in that I want to know if you guys think that people here actually hear differently. And that's why they may prefer this over that, or listening this way rather than that way. And the second question I have is because sometimes sometimes I hear you talk and I don't know the jargon, and you're speaking Greek, to me. But bottom line, and I'm sort of addressing this to everybody, but since you guys are up there, you have to answer. Does it all come down to it's all about the music? Is that what it still comes down to for you?
I'd say absolutely everyone does hear differently. I mean, just look at, like Dan was saying, the response to various headphones. There are people that there's a certain headphone company, they don't typically exhibit here, I'm not going to name them. You know, you probably know who they are, but you know, they're quite popular. And a lot of people really love them, but a lot of people here, you know, a head-fi would be like, oh my God, I can't believe you listen to those, I like them. But no, the people who listen to them, they aren't crazy. They actually really like that, and they think it's great, and they think it sounds real. So, and if you could take one of those headphones and put it up against ether or, you know, something like that, and have people say, oh, they sound the same, that's funny. You know,
Or congratulations, you just saved a lot of money.
But you know, if people think 2 amps sound the same, it's like, yeah, within the realm of reason. But people do hear differently, and yeah, for me, it's all about the music. It's all about what, you know, what I like. You know, thank you. You know, what I like as well, and you know, I'm very vocal about like, you know, what products I like from our line. That doesn't mean that they're for everyone.
Different, objective, subjective. I am involved in musical theater, and there are people who just cannot hear, cannot properly detect pitch. And there are people who can go off pitch, and some percentage of the audience will just, and if somebody goes off key, I mean, I'm just, oh, it really hurts. And I'm starting to work on a music processor, not a sound processor. And I have the first part of it done. It's you know, we call it the gadget. It's not enough to release as a product. But what it does is it detunes music from A equals 440 or wherever it is down to C equals 256. It's primarily for people who are classical music listeners, and it works for rock as well. And when you detune it, there's a certain point where you just go, oh. And that's not all people.
Yeah,
That's
some people don't hear it.
Yeah, some people do not hear it. Okay, I'd say probably 60-70% hear it.
Yeah.
And we're going to do 2 more things that are, again, kind of subjective. And one of them is for the pop people, there's an expander, an intelligent expander. You know, these are all easy to do, but they're difficult to do, so they sound good. And that's for the pop music crowd, because it has a dynamic range of 7 dB or something. And then if you're lucky on a good day. And then the final thing, and this is, I don't know how to explain this simply, but there are, you know, music has a beat, you know, most of it, you know, jazz, you could argue. And there are singers who sing behind the beat, like Frank Sinatra does it. People will like them, they don't know why they like him, but it's because he's behind the beat. Up to the Exile on Main Street album, the Stones all were behind the beat. After the Exile on Main Street album, they were on the beat. And I've heard many times people come up to me and say, oh, I like the Stones until Exile on Main Street, and then after that, well, I don't know what happened. Well, you know, they went north. And it's like, there's all these little psychoacoustic things that I'm going to put into this music processor. And it's an interesting thing to play with, and it has something for everybody there, and it's a lot of work. We have some really bright people.
Some people probably won't hear it.
All of them should hear some aspect of it.
Yeah, but the reaction to the gadget was interesting, because I mean, I could hear the pitch shift, you know, when you turn it on and off, but there were a certain percentage of people who just couldn't hear it at all.
Yeah. And everybody's building, you know, every other kind of component, but nobody's really building a music processor. So, hey.
So my question is, a lot of people's hearing is really going. Do you have, when you test your stuff, do people go through hearing tests?
Oh, absolutely. And it's like, I mean, it's funny. I was testing my hearing way back, when I was 18 and 19, just getting into this, and I know what I've lost to today. What is about 2K? I can still hear about the 17.5, which is fine. But you do lose your hearing over time. You want to preserve your hearing by not, abusing it too much. One of the reasons I hate, concerts, rock concerts, is like, well, okay, here's your choice. You can wear earplugs and hear nothing, which you might as well stay home, or you can wreck your ears for 3 days, and who knows what the long term is.
Custom fit earplugs, they exist. I've been wearing them for years, playing really loud guitar, going loud shows.
And they work?
Yeah, because they're made so they don't filter all the highs out as much. It's more balanced sounding. And they work pretty well. And my hearing's been good on the location sound.
Wait, but then I can't complain about going to concerts.
They do exist. You get your ears molded and...
But yeah, I maintain that because, lately, I picked up a little bit of tinnitus and it went away, but it's always worrisome whenever, your hearing is not what it used to be.
Overabundance of power for headphones for 2-channel, the same as it is for headphones, where it's a added bonus.
Hard to tell. I mean, it's too general because it's like what works well with the headphones you're using. Having more power, if you can give power without extra noise, it's not really going to hurt that much. It probably can't hurt that much. You're probably not going to run the headphones so hot you can blow them up or anything like that. But more power usually comes with, you have to have more gain. It's usually more noise. That's the same with the headphone and on the speaker side. So choose your battles. Do you want to use a lot of feedback, to actually get a low gain but high power amp, which you won't be able to drive into the high power amp. So it's difficult to answer that.
Yeah, this is clear cut.
Yeah.
Even digitally, you make something more powerful digitally, and it's trade-offs. You just need what you need. You can run digital filters until the numbers involved are below the, effective number of bits you have. It's there's overkill and necessary and underkill. And my comfortable margins are overkill plus about 10-20%.
All right, for each of you in your field that you make, headphones or amps or DACs, what's your favorite product that's not one that you make?
Nice.
It's a trap. How about that's not made by anyone on the panel?
I got that one. The old original Fire Screen quad electrostatic loudspeaker.
I'd have to say Magnafam 0.7.
Okay, and that said, we've come to the end of the seminar and actually the end of the show for the day. I just want to thank all of you for coming and of course all our panelists. If you have any more questions, this is your chance, just ambush them on the way out. Thanks for coming.
So good.
Have a seat, take a listen.
Yeah.
My name is Grover Neville. My hometown is originally Nashville, Tennessee, but I live currently in the west suburbs of Chicago. Right now I've been into a lot of sort of avant-garde jazz stuff, but in the more mainstream realm, there's a new Nate Smith album which I think is great. It's called Kinfolk, Postcards from Everywhere. A lot of fun, a lot of cool different influences in it. Cecil McLaurin Salvant is always on my playlist. There's a band called the Cat Empire. They're kind of like a combination of like ska, funk, jazz, reggae. They're like kind of a wacky jam band from Australia. So they're a lot of fun. There's a group called Akova that I listen to pretty regularly. It's sort of, they call themselves French Phantasmagoria music. It's like kind of like a combination of Indian music and like rock out, like pseudo trip hop stuff. There's a rapper named Trim who I'm listening to. He's got this really sort of stripped back production. This kind of like, it's almost spoken word, and it's the recordings are really well done actually. So it's rap that audiophiles they kind of appreciate, and then musically there's a lot of cool stuff going. Very sparse but really compelling. Every note means something. Yeah. So I've got a bunch of different headphones. I've got a pair of Mr. Speaker's Aeons, a pair of ZMF Oris from a while back. I've got a pair of Schiit 100s that I have absolutely shredded and modded, taken the drivers out, slapped them in Dynamat. I mean, they're pretty crazy ripped apart. I've got a pair of old Biodynamic DT880s, the Pro version, the 250 ohm Pro version. What else? I just got a pair of Odyssey Mobius that I'm actually really digging for games and music on the go as a Bluetooth headphone. That's all I can remember off the top of my head. I might have a few other pairs of random things here and there. And I'm running them just out of an Asgard 2 and a Bifrost multi-bit from 4 or 5 years old. So, yeah, nothing like super fancy. Well, I kind of wish I had some VRs for my stereo system. I've got an old McCormick amp, and it's pretty good, but I'd love to have like a little bit beefier set of like Vito monoblocks. I've got a Saga right now, so I probably have to get a DAC to match that and a Freya preamp to run those through. So I think some of the 2-channel stuff is what I would like to have. And I also love the Lear 3. It's probably my favorite amp in the lineup right now, so I'd love to have one of those. I think probably the openness. Mike and Jason are great guys to talk to, and they just have I feel like they're really approachable, you know? They're happy to talk about their philosophy, but they're also open to trying new things, and just overall, like, the company has a great friendly vibe, people have a good sense of humor, and everybody seems to take criticism and suggestions really well, and they're just very approachable and honest about, you know, what kinds of products they make and what their goal is. So I think that's pretty refreshing and I think very compelling. I am actually not a Shit for Brains subscriber. I've watched most of the videos though. I actually don't generally subscribe to things on YouTube, but I might. I kind of, now that I actually talked to Tony, I'm into it. I'm digging it, so I'll probably subscribe. I watch most of the videos anyway, so have fun.
All right.
Get your drunk.
Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
My name's Brent. My hometown is Denver, Colorado. I listen to a lot of blues. I also like a lot of the new metal, progressive rock that's coming out. Stuff like Porcupine Tree and the Pineapple Thief and a little bit of Amaranth, you know, stuff like that. But mostly blues, Stevie Ray Vaughan, stuff like that. I run 2 headphones, the ZMF Tour and the ZMF Icon. I currently own the Schiit Lear 3 with the multi-bit card built in. I run that at work, as well as I've got a Modi 3 or Modi 2 multi-bit at work. Let's see here. So then I also have the Gumby that I pair with a different amp, but I also use the Schiit Jotunheim for my studio monitor setup, kind of as a preamp kind of thing. So, that's, yeah, my 2 setups. Oh boy, gotta go with the Yigi. I mean, you know, it's you know, one of those things. What else do I wish? The Mjolnir 2, probably. You know, I like how punchy it is. I've demoed it a couple times over there. It's a good sounding amp. I like design. I like that you guys come out with stuff that's. I've always got the best time. It's like covers all the bases as far as your product line goes, but at the same time, like the Lear 3 and the continuity, design and stuff like that. You know, there's not many people out there innovating like that, and I love to see the new stuff that comes out with the new products or with the new technology and ideas and stuff like that. So I like keeping up on that kind of stuff, and you know, it's cool to try new stuff. So that's what I like about you. You guys are in. innovative. I like that. I'll put it that way. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for doing what you do. So,
It's fun.
I like it.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. Thanks.
I'll get you talking to Mike Moffat. There, now you can prove I've talked to Mike Moffat before.
Right.
All right.
Exactly.
It's on YouTube, I swear to God.
Yeah, I am actually. Yes, I am. I was probably one of the first 50 subscribers you've had because I subscribed.
Like a year ago.
I subscribed at least a year ago.
Right
I sent a message to you on the YouTube channel itself, and you replied at least 9 months ago.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
I try to reply to most. Some of them I just don't really know what to say. So I'll push the heart button.
No, I like what you guys are doing. I really enjoy your products, and you know, I'll keep buying stuff as it comes out as I can. You know, it's fun to explore.
Cool.
So, and I like the fact that you guys are built in U.S. and you keep the products U.S. based.
I like that too.
I like buying American. I do.
Did you see the Jack's tour?
What's that?
The board shop tour video?
Yeah, saw that one. Yep. Saw the.
That was really cool for me to be able to go over there and see all that stuff.
I think you guys dropped a hint. I don't know if it was intentional or not on the.
Everyone's saying that. We didn't.
You didn't? No,
he said full of.
Oh,
not,
full of.
Thor.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I see. I played it back, and yeah, it does kind of sound like Thor, but it's
right.
It's so weird how people they hear what they want to hear, and then now it's like this whole phenomenon. Everybody thinks we're coming out with Thor now.
Well, and I watched the video first, and it was cool watching all the stuff, and I had no idea how they do the soldering on it, so it was really interesting and fascinating for me. I didn't hear Thor, but somebody else posted it, and I'm like, what, they dropped it? Did they really? And I didn't have time to go back and rewatch the video, so I was just kind of took it on faith that somebody heard Thor and that there was some unintentional, you know.
It's all right. I mean, I honestly thought I was kind of tickled by that. I was like, now they all think that there's a Thor coming out.
Excellent. Well, hey, let them.
I read it on the video.
Yeah, but that's not what he said. Like, it was real loud in there, and it's all I have is the potato. So.
Right. Yeah. No, that's cool.